Hey, what's up, fight fans? My name's Jason Gonzalez. You're listening to The Boxing Blaze. I'm a reporter for Real Combat Media. For all your boxing and MMA news, go visit realcombatmedia.com. Now, this week we had some upsets and some disappointments on PBC Spike. But before I talk about that, I want to talk about Jose Benavidez. This week he got shot, and I believe his knee. It was his knee, basically, and the doctor said that he's going to survive the gun wound, but nothing has been said yet whether or not he's going to return to the ring or he's not going to be able to box. And that really sucks, because imagine putting basically your whole life into something and you can't do it anymore. Like you become a success, but you can't do it anymore. And that must really suck for Jose. So I hope for speedy recovery for Jose, and I hope for the best. Now, like I said, we're going to talk about PBC on Spike. There was disappointments. There was two disappointments. The first one was Angulo versus Peralta. Angulo versus Hernandez. Angulo was fighting a faster guy who would land combinations. Angulo, compared to Hernandez, was slow and he was missing a lot. There was some times where, Hernandez and Angulo would give and take, but most of the time Hernandez was winning these exchanges because he was just so much faster and more boxing savvy than Angulo. Hernandez is a high volume puncher. The commentators were talking about how once he threw over 1,200 punches in a 10-round fight, and you could see, if you watch the fight, you could see that it's true. Like, this guy throws a bunch of punches. At one point, he landed several 6-punch combos. It was crazy. I say the first couple of rounds, Angulo was doing good, but overall Hernandez was winning the rounds. As the rounds went later and later, it was obvious that Angulo had to knock out Hernandez to win, and he just couldn't do it. He couldn't reach because Hernandez also had an arm length advantage over Angulo, and Angulo had to reach in and try to punch him, and it kind of sucked because Angulo was slow. So when you're trying to reach in and you have to punch the other guy with the shorter arm length, it's not going to go good for you. There was a point in the fight, I believe it was the 6th round, where Angulo made Hernandez bleed, and that's when Angulo was looking good, and you were like, maybe this fight will be turned around, but that didn't happen. In the later rounds, I believe it was the 9th and the 10th, it really looked like Angulo was going for the knockout, but he just wasn't able to win it. And at the end of the day, Freddy Hernandez won the fight by unanimous decision. And that was a disappointment because I really thought that Angulo was going to win the fight. I believe PBC set up this card for Angulo and Guerrero to look good, and they just kind of ended up disappointing PBC. What should Angulo do next? The guy still has a name, so he could still get big fights. What I think he should do, he's getting old. The guy's getting old, and or to the end of his career, anyways. And I say he should go for a big money fight. One of the two things he could do is, one, go against Antonio Margarito. I feel like that fight would be so good because they're both stationary fighters, and I feel like they would just sit there and trade shots. One's not faster than the other one, and one's not more boxing savvy, like smarter in the ring. The other one, it'd be a really good fight. Or he could go for a fight against Guerrero. Now, talking about Robert Guerrero. Guerrero also fought on that card, and he also lost. He fought against a guy named Peralta. The whole fight was basically a boxing match, but once again, Peralta had the longer arms, and it seemed like he had the longer arms, and he was fighting from the outside, and Guerrero was boxing at first, and the first, I'd say, 4 rounds, Guerrero was boxing good, but then afterwards, Peralta started picking up the pace. He started fighting from the outside, and Guerrero wanted to fight on the inside. He wanted to it started to look like after the 4th round he started getting tired of boxing and wanted to start to brawl. And there was some rounds where, you know, they exchanged, but most of this fight was basically a boxing match. And what basically Peralta would do is he'd throw a 1-2, and then he'd pull out, and then he'd move. And then in the 9th round, I believe, Guerrero got punched. I don't know if it was, I believe it was the right hand of Peralta. And Guerrero got knocked down to the ropes. If the ropes weren't there, it would have been for sure a knockdown. And most of the time they call let me re-explain this. He got punched and he fell onto the ropes, and it looked like a knockdown because if the ropes weren't there, he would have fell to the floor. Now, usually what the refs will do is they'll call that a knockdown, but I don't know why, but the ref didn't. It looked like Peralta's and Guerrero's feet got mixed up, and he got tripped, but the ref didn't even say it was a slip, so it was kind of weird. But at the end of the day, Guerrero did look frustrated at times, and Guerrero had no idea who this Peralta guy was. He's from Argentina. There was no videos about him. I think he took this fight thinking it was going to be a brawl. It was going to be an easy win for him to make his way back up in the division of 147 pounds. But he got a really technically sound boxer, and he lost at the end of the day. It was a split decision. Peralta took the fight. Now, what should Guerrero do next? Like I said before, he could take that fight against Angulo. That would do him pretty good. Or he could take a rematch against Andre Berto since he won that fight. Maybe he could beat Andre Berto and hopefully somehow make his way back to the top that way. If not, if he doesn't take a fight with either of them, he should look for somebody that he knows will come to give him a fight. Somebody he knows is gonna come and to battle, to go toe-to-toe with him, because I feel like at this point in Robert Guerrero's career, that's his fighting style. That's what benefits him the most. But anyways, that is the Boxing Blaze. Thank you guys for listening. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you guys think. Go visit Real Combat Media's YouTube page as well. It's awesome. See you next time. I'm Jason, and this is the Boxing Blaze.